I guess this is a little more history. My second piece after the Anakin's landspeeder, which got destroyed by my grandchildren, thank you kids, was the X-Wing, because that's an iconic piece, and I wanted to make the mechanism for an X-Wing so I could actually get the wings to open manually and then close automatically. And so he said, yeah. He sent me to a guy with a bunch of typewriter ribbons, and I took them apart and got the springs out. And this is what I come up with. Is this really cool X-Wing? Now, the thing about this X-Wing is that I learned some stuff, a couple of different things when I was building this. First off, it took me 65 hours just to make the actuation. There's a little lever back here in the back, and when you, it locks down here. So you push it down and lock it in place, and you're in fighter mode. So your X-Wing can do all kinds of really cool stuff. And of course, the canopy opens and there's all kinds of neat stuff. We'll show the close-up of that in a bit. And because it was spring-loaded, when you pop this lock loose, the wings automatically shut. And it took some time. It took me 65 hours to make the actuation, then I had to start building the body around it. And so then I built the chassis, and since this was my first large build, I learned some things. I sanded spots off, and so when I painted it, those sanded spots turned out to raise up and be rough. There's a lot of them on here, and I didn't have any idea that that would happen. But I learned from that now when I sand an exterior piece, after I'm done sanding it, I put Elmer's glue on it and I rub it in. And it takes all this raised area out of the paper so the paper won't fluff up like that when you paint it. And the second thing I learned was all of my ribbing shows where I put my ribs in there to build the body. All of the chassis members, there's wrinkles on all of this. And so that's why I learned to put armor over top of the skin, because that armor hides all of your definition. Because when you glue a piece, it gets the paper just a little bit damp. And because the paper is a little bit damp, it conforms to the shapes that you're putting it on. And so what it did was, when it dried, it left the little ups and downs and stuff of the frame. And so that was the learning process. And those things happen when you're building. Hopefully that if you start doing these and you build with my techniques, you won't have all those kind of learning snafus that happen. And so anyway, I don't know if you'd like to get a close-up of the cockpit of this or not. I don't know how close I can even get. But I will let my video guy do that when I'm done here. And I'm done here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome to the Paper Engineer. Since the first video didn't have any dimensions, here are your dimensions to make these. And it gives you an idea of where you need your fold lines and what sizes to cut. As you can see, this is your manila folder, and this is your cockpit. This is your two hyperdrive upper and lower panels. This is your bottom of your chassis, and that is the top of your chassis. So once you get those, then what you have is you have your pieces. Your lines are back here so that you know where to fold these so that they will fit onto the hyperdrive section, which is this section right back here. Your cockpit, of course, if you paint it black first, it fits on better. Then I have these already painted. These are the body panels, which I showed you right here. This is the bottom one, and it goes on last because it has to fold over the front to give it that kind of X-Wing look. and you have the top piece here. So what you do is you take your tweezers and you just kind of gently fold on those lines that you've made. And once you get that fold started, it should crease reasonably decent. And these fold marks are about 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 inch here, here, and here. Same way with your hyperdrive panels. They're about 1/8 of an inch on all three of them, which are these three here. So once your folds are completed and your body panels are ready to actually be put on. And so before I show you how to roll up these guns and these engines, I'm going to go ahead and glue these in place so they're drying, hopefully, while I'm busy turning those things into functioning parts. Of course, Elmer's glue is good stuff. Works on paper really well, and it's pretty cheap. Of course, I go through a lot of it, so I buy it by the gallon. Kind of hold it for usually 30 to 60 seconds. You can make a quick count in your head that way. Get pretty good at counting seconds down, especially if you make a lot of these. Personally, I like to make 6 at a time. This is just training for everybody, so I'm only doing the 1. You can see I put the hyperdrive block in. That is this piece right here. It's back in the back. It's ready. It's already dry and ready to go. I've painted my wings and everything, of course, ahead of time. That way you don't smear anything, and your lines look good. And I just dip my little needle in the paint and just run it across here before I put the body parts on. Your 2 different sizes of needles. This is your gun needle, and this is your engine needle. And I got needles. I went to a hobby shop, hobby store, and these are the 2 needles I use right there. This narrow one and this fatter one. And so they're pretty easy to find, which you will need them if you're going to make a lot of X-Wings. These dimensions on these guns, and the guns are 1 inch by 5/8. This part is roughly 3/8. That is 3/16 or 5/16, and that one is 3/8 as well. The engines are the same width, which is 5/8 by 1 inch and 1/8 or 1 inch. Somewhere in there it is going to be fine. Your inset part here is actually 5/8 by, I believe, 1/4. That gives you your size so that you can cut these out, because you need 4 of each, and it's kind of important to have your sizes right. Now, as that dries, I will show you how this works. Once you get all your pieces, you just cut them out like so. And I'm just using a scrap piece of paper because it all twists up inside. Now this is an engine, so I use the fatter needle for the end. Holding your finger on that and getting your curve proper. Maybe that's radius, I'm not sure. I'm not that technical. But as I start to go, now this is something else I got too. You can get these at a hobby shop. They're just a dental tool. They come in very handy for starting these twists because it's really hard to do. And you'll notice that the engines are going to be really easy compared to doing the guns. But you've got to get it as tight as possible, because the more slack you have in this around your needle, the worse your engines and guns look. See, now I got too much slack in there, so I've got to go back and try to get that to go down inside. It's hard to get it all to go at the same time. You just kind of have to be gentle with it, and with practice you will get very, very good. Because as it twisted off. you should have you can paint them any way you want. They can be all black or all white, or like I used some definition on these a little bit on the wings just to add something to it. But that paints up fairly easily. Same way with your guns. Your guns do the same thing. For the gun tips, I use red, but it depends on what color lasers you're going to be shooting. You just dab it like so, and it just goes in there like that, and that's done. That dries up really nice, and look. Just dab your color in there. And there's a couple ways you can actually do that. Teeny tiny corner, like about that much, and put some glue on it and get it all kind of wadded up. And the best way to do it, I'll show you here real quick. I just take like this, and I got a little tiny piece. All right, just put some glue in the palm of your hand. Now, you can actually stick this in the back of your engine like so, and just leave it sticking out. You can feather it, you can push it in further, you can leave a little ends. So once these have kind of set up to where they look like they're going to stay in place, you want to make sure that your hyperdrive, see, and there, this is glue. I use too much glue. Using too much glue, it takes it too long to dry. But anyway, since this is just a show you build, I'll tell you about it, and you can do it yourself. You take your engines, and I always take and find my seam, my paper seam line, and turn it down. There's the line right there. Oops. And you can put glue there, or you can put it on the engine itself. It just kind of depends on what you want to do with that, how you want the application. Each application is going to be your own, and you will get good at doing one your way better than my way, which is fine. That's the way it should be. Once you get your engines on, you always look across your plane this way and make sure they're all the right length or distance on each other's, how far they stick out in the back. And you look across this way too to make sure they're lined up and not all out of shape. That is really close to a finished X-Wing. The only thing you have left to do, let's see, have I got an X-Wing over there?